Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session, where we'll dive into some fascinating aspects of understanding behavior. Specifically, we'll explore the concepts of mentalism, hypothetical constructs, explanatory fictions, and circular reasoning. These ideas are crucial for anyone in the field of psychology, especially for those of us practicing or studying applied behavior analysis. By the end of this session, you'll be better equipped to analyze and critique explanations of behavior, paving the way for more effective interventions. Let's get started. Mentalism refers to explaining behavior based on internal, unobservable processes or states, like thoughts or emotions, rather than observable environmental influences. Examples for mentalism: attributing success to intelligence. A teacher says a student excels in math because they are naturally intelligent. Focusing on an internal trait rather than studying habits or teaching methods. Explaining fear. A therapist suggests a client is afraid of flying because they possess an anxiety trait, ignoring external factors like past experiences or learned responses. Motivation for exercise. A friend claims that the only reason people work out consistently is because they have high motivation levels, rather than considering external motivators like health benefits or social support. Now let's look hypothetical constructs. Hypothetical constructs are theoretical concepts inferred from behavior, not directly observable, used to explain underlying processes or states. Examples for hypothetical constructs. Self-esteem in social situations. A psychologist concludes that a person's reluctance to speak in groups is due to low self-esteem, a construct inferred from their behavior without direct measurement. Intelligence affecting learning. An educator argues that a child learns quickly due to their high intelligence, a construct that summarizes various unobserved cognitive processes. Personality traits driving actions. A manager believes an employee's success in negotiations is due to their extroverted personality, an inferred trait rather than specific behaviors or strategies used. Let's move on to explanatory fictions. Explanatory fictions are explanations that do not offer a real understanding of behavior, often restating the behavior as its own cause. Examples for explanatory fictions. Explaining laziness. Saying a student doesn't complete their homework because they are just lazy restates the behavior not doing homework as its own explanation without identifying underlying reasons. Attributing to willpower. A fitness coach says a client fails to follow a diet plan due to a lack of willpower, a fictional explanation that doesn't account for external factors like environmental cues or stress. Sleeping late due to being a night owl. Explaining someone's tendency to sleep late by labeling them a night owl uses the behavior itself, sleeping late, to explain the behavior, avoiding deeper analysis. Now, it's for circular reasoning. Circular reasoning involves an argument where the conclusion is among its premises, offering no actual explanation, and often relying on the behavior itself as the cause. Examples for circular reasoning. Fear of heights. Claiming someone is afraid of heights because they have a phobia of heights uses the fear itself, phobia, to explain why they're afraid without identifying the cause. Good at sports because athletic. A coach says an athlete excels in sports because they are athletic, which merely restates their sporting prowess as the reason for it, without examining training, practice, or physical condition. Studious due to love for learning. Explaining a student's dedication to studying by their love for learning circles back to their behavior of studying to explain why they study, bypassing potential influences like parental expectations or future goals. Let's compare with same topic. Avoiding exercise. Mentalism says She avoids exercising because she doesn't enjoy physical activities, which is just how her personality is. This attributes avoidance of exercise to an internal personality trait by passing observable environmental factors. Also, he doesn't go to the gym because he feels self-conscious. This explanation relies on an internal feeling of self-consciousness, without addressing observable factors like gym, environment, or past experiences. Hypothetical construct says, lack of exercise is due to her low energy levels. Energy levels are a hypothetical construct used to explain behavior, without direct observation or measurement. Also, his avoidance of physical activity is attributed to a lack of motivation. Motivation is another hypothetical construct, inferred from the behavior of avoiding exercise, but not directly measurable in this context. Explanatory fiction says, she doesn't work out because she's lazy. Labeling someone as lazy restates the observed behavior, not working out as its own cause, without exploring underlying reasons. Also, he's not the exercising type. This fiction categorizes the individual in a way that doesn't explain why they avoid exercise, merely restating their behavior as a characteristic. Circular reasoning says, they avoid exercise because they prefer sedentary activities. This uses a preference for sedentary activities, both as a reason for and a description of avoiding exercise, without explaining the origin of this preference. Also, she doesn't participate in physical activities because she's inactive. Similar to the first set of examples. This statement circles back to inactivity as both the explanation and the behavior itself, failing to uncover the real reasons behind the avoidance of exercise. Let's look examples about procrastination on starting homework. Mentalism says, Jenny procrastinates on her homework because she fears failure, which overwhelms her. Attributes Jenny's procrastination to an internal state of fear, overlooking external factors like homework difficulty or past feedback. Also, Mark delays starting his homework because he lacks internal motivation. Explains Mark's procrastination by an internal lack of motivation, without considering external motivators or deterrents. Hypothetical construct says, Alex's procrastination is due to his low self-regulation skills. Uses self-regulation skills, a hypothetical construct, to explain procrastination without direct observation. Also, Lila puts off her homework because of her perfectionism. Perfectionism is a hypothetical construct inferred from Lila's behavior, positing an unobservable cause. Explanatory fiction says, Sam procrastinates because he's just a procrastinator. Labels Sam as a procrastinator, restating the behavior as its cause, without providing a real explanation or solution. Also, Eva doesn't start her homework because she's lazy. Calls Eva lazy, an explanatory fiction that doesn't explore why she procrastinates, overlooking external factors. Circular reasoning says, he doesn't do his homework on time because he always puts things off. Uses the behavior putting things off to explain itself, without identifying the root cause of the behavior. Also, she procrastinates on her homework because she's not a timely person. Describes her as not timely, using a characteristic inferred from the behavior to explain the behavior itself, without addressing underlying reasons. Do you understand better? Let's look other examples about spending too much time on social media to make sure. Mentalism says, Tom spends hours on social media because he seeks emotional validation that he lacks in real life. Attributes Tom's behavior to an internal state of seeking emotional validation, overlooking environmental factors. Also, Liza can't help scrolling through social media late at night because she's anxious about missing out. uses Lisa's internal state of anxiety as the reason for her behavior, ignoring external triggers. Hypothetical construct says, James' excessive use of social media is driven by his low self-esteem. Uses low self-esteem, a hypothetical construct, to explain behavior without direct observation. Also, Mia engages in constant social media browsing due to her digital addiction. Digital addiction is a hypothetical construct inferred from behavior, but not directly measurable. Explanatory fiction says, he's always on his phone because he's addicted to social media. Labels frequent phone use as addiction, restating the behavior as its cause without exploring specific reasons. She checks her Instagram every few minutes because she's an Instagram junkie. Describes frequent Instagram checks as being an Instagram junkie, which doesn't delve into the underlying reasons. Circular reasoning says, Karen spends so much time on Facebook because she loves being on Facebook. Uses Karen's love for Facebook as both the reason for and a description of her behavior, without explaining the engagement reasons. Also, he's glued to Twitter because he's a Twitter fanatic. Describes excessive Twitter use by stating he's a Twitter fanatic, which circularly explains the behavior with the behavior itself. Now let's practice some mock exams. Mock exam 1. Emma has an important exam next week, but every time she sits down to study, she ends up browsing social media or texting friends. When asked why she believes this happens, Emma responds, I guess I'm just not disciplined enough to study when there are distractions. Her friend suggests it might be more about habit than inherent discipline. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 3. Explanatory fiction. Emma's explanation of not being disciplined enough is an explanatory fiction because it restates the observed behavior procrastination as its cause. Lack of discipline, without identifying external factors or providing insight into how to change the behavior. Why other answers are wrong. Mentalism typically involves internal states or processes, which Emma's explanation slightly touches on. But primarily, she's restating the behavior rather than attributing it to internal thoughts or feelings. Hypothetical constructs are unobservable entities used to explain behavior. While discipline could be seen as a construct, the way Emma uses it fits better with explanatory fictions. Circular reasoning would involve using the behavior both as the premise and conclusion, which is not exactly what Emma is doing here. Mock exam 2. Liu used to love painting, but lately, he finds himself avoiding his art studio. He tells his mentor, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe I'm just not passionate about art anymore. His mentor wonders if external pressures or recent critical feedback might be influencing Liu's avoidance. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 1. Mentalism. Liu's attribution of his behavior to a change in internal passion. An unobservable state represents a mentalistic explanation. It focuses on internal processes or states as the cause of behavior, without considering observable environmental influences. Why other answers are wrong. Hypothetical constructs involve theoretical concepts that explain behavior. While passion could fit, the direct attribution to an internal state leans more towards mentalism. Explanatory fictions and circular reasoning both involve logical fallacy. that don't directly apply to attributing behavior to internal states or feelings as Liu does. Mock exam 3. Sophia often complains about feeling tired in the mornings. Yet she stays up late watching series or scrolling through feeds. When her roommate asks why she doesn't go to bed earlier, Sophia shrugs. I'm just a night owl, I guess. Her roommate suggests setting an alarm to remind her to go to bed earlier. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 4. Circular reasoning. Labeling herself as a night owl to explain her behavior of staying up late is an example of circular reasoning. The label derived from her behavior is used to justify the behavior itself, creating a loop without exploring the real reasons behind it. Why other answers are wrong? Mentalism involves attributing behavior to internal states or processes, which is not the focus here. Hypothetical constructs are theoretical entities inferred from behavior. And while night owl could be seen as a construct, the direct use here fits better with circular reasoning. Explanatory fictions restates the behavior as its cause, but does not capture the circular logic present in Sophia's explanation. Mock exam 4. Recently, Jay has been turning down invitations to social events, preferring to stay home. When a friend asks why, Jay responds, I'm just an introvert. A therapist later suggests exploring how Jay feels about these events and whether past experiences might be affecting his decisions. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 2. Hypothetical constructs. Labeling oneself as an introvert relies on a hypothetical construct to explain behavior. Introversion is a theoretical concept used to infer reasons for social withdrawal without direct observation or measurement of the behaviors leading to that conclusion. Why other answers are wrong? Mentalism typically refers to explanations based on internal, unobservable processes. While introversion might seem to fit, the key here is that introversion is specifically a hypothetical construct used to explain a range of behaviors, rather than a specific internal state or process. Explanatory fictions involve explanations that don't actually explain the behavior, but rather restate it in another form. Labeling oneself as an introvert does more than just restate the behavior. It introduces a theoretical concept supposed to account for a wide range of behaviors. Circular reasoning would be present if Jay's reason for not attending social events was simply because he doesn't attend social events, which is not the case here. The reference to introversion attempts to provide a theoretical basis for the behavior, even if it's not directly observable. Mock exam 5. Kevin has a habit of starting various projects from painting to coding but rarely finishes them. When asked about this pattern, Kevin sighs and says, I think I just lack persistence. It's probably something innate. His friend suggests that Kevin might not be allocating his time effectively or setting realistic goals. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 1. Mentalism. Kevin's explanation relies on an internal, unobservable state, lack of persistence, as the reason for his behavior, which is characteristic of mentalism. He attributes his actions to something innate, implying an internal, psychological cause. Why other answers are wrong? Hypothetical constructs are theoretical concepts used to explain behavior. And while persistence could be seen as such, Kiven's focus on it being innate aligns more closely with mentalism. Explanatory fictions involve restating the behavior as its own cause, which isn't exactly what Kiven does here. Circular reasoning would require using the behavior both as the premise and conclusion, which Kiven's statement doesn't fulfill. Mock Exam 6. Rachel often stays up late playing video games, leading to daytime fatigue. She explains, "Gaming just captivates me, it's like I'm wired to play." Her sibling suggests the blue light from screens might be disrupting her sleep, or the game's design keeps her engaged longer than intended. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 3. Explanatory fiction. Rachel's reasoning that she is wired to play is an explanatory fiction. It provides a superficial explanation that restates the behavior, captivates me, without addressing underlying causes or external factors. Why other answers are wrong? Mentalism focuses on internal states or processes as explanations, which Rachel slightly touches on, but her explanation more directly restates the behavior without delving into internal states. Hypothetical constructs involve unobservable entities used to explain behavior, while being wired could fit. It's used here more as a fictional explanation than a theoretical construct. Circular reasoning involves a logical loop, which isn't precisely Rachel's approach in explaining her gaming behavior. Mock Exam 7. Every morning, Alex hits the snooze button multiple times, struggling to wake up. When discussing this habit, Alex mentions, "I must be hitting snooze because I'm a heavy sleeper." A friend points out that going to bed late might be the real issue, or Alex's alarm sound is too gentle. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 4. Circular reasoning. Alex's statement that he's a heavy sleeper and therefore hits snooze creates a circular argument. The behavior of hitting snooze is used to justify itself through the label of being a heavy sleeper, without identifying the actual cause of the behavior. Why other answers are wrong? Mentalism involves internal psychological states, which isn't the core of Alex's justification. Hypothetical constructs refer to theoretical concepts explaining behavior. Heavy sleeper could be seen as such, but is used here in a circular manner rather than as a construct explaining behavior. Explanatory fictions restates the behavior as its cause, which is not entirely fitting as Alex attempts to provide a rationale, albeit circular. Mock Exam 8. Lily used to enjoy her weekly yoga class, but lately, she's been skipping it. She muses, "Perhaps my energy levels are just naturally low these days." Her instructor suggests exploring other factors, like recent schedule changes or the class's increasing difficulty. What does this scenario best exemplify? 1. Mentalism. 2. Hypothetical constructs. 3. Explanatory fictions. 4. Circular reasoning. Correct answer is 2. Hypothetical constructs. Lily's attribution of her behavior to naturally low energy levels uses a hypothetical construct, a theoretical concept that is not directly observable. She infers an internal state to explain her lack of participation. Why other answers are wrong. Mentalism is close but specifically involves explaining behavior through internal states or processes. While energy levels could fit under mentalism, they are framed here as a hypothetical construct to explain behavior, which makes hypothetical constructs the more precise choice. Explanatory fictions typically involve providing an explanation that merely restates the observed behavior without offering insight. Lily's reasoning attempts to offer an underlying cause, even though it's not directly observable, rather than just restating her behavior. Circular reasoning involves using the conclusion as a premise in the argument, which doesn't quite fit Lily's situation. She doesn't use her lack of participation to justify her lack of participation. Instead, she speculates about an internal condition as the cause. That's all today. I hope these examples and explanations have clarified the differences between these concepts for you. Understanding these distinctions is key to critically evaluating explanations of behavior, a crucial skill in applied behavior analysis and psychology broadly. Thank you for joining today's session.